Is our Bookster segment. Bookster is a website for book lovers and much, much more. And we're very excited to have Alec Penix with us via Skype. He is an author and celebrity trainer, and he's here to discuss his new book, 7 Sundays of Faith, Fitness, and Food Plan for Lasting Spiritual and Physical Change. Welcome, Alec.
Well, thanks for having me today.
Of course. Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into fitness?
Yes. So when I was younger, my not to be too in depth with this story, as I know we only have so much time, but my parents got in a divorce when I was around 5, and around that same time, I was diagnosed with a learning disability, and because of that, I was teased a lot in school. And so what I did to overcompensate that, and luckily I was always a positive kid growing up, I turned to working out. I turned to sports to overcompensate for this image that I allowed at a young age, because I didn't know any better, to be accepted within me. And so what I did, and luckily, was one day I was in Mexico, and I was in a really dark time in my life. And the next day, we were celebrating during that night before, so I'll let you read in between the lines on that. But
you were hurting.
The next day, I was lying there, and I say it was the first time I ever prayed out loud, and I asked God, I needed help, and He said, "It's time to become the man I've called you to be."
Oh.
So because of my past, I always was into fitness because it was something I was naturally good at. But then I had this spiritual element. I began the spiritual element with my walk with God, and that's sort of how the combination of faith and fitness all came together.
Mm-hmm. And you've worked with celebrities like Olympian Gabby Douglas and singer Shawn Mendes. When celebrities come to you, what do they usually want to work on? I'm assuming it ranges from just wanting to feel a little better to getting chiseled abs of steel.
Well, I am in a place in the world that is so unique that it's where I'm training these types of celebrities, the biggest celebrities in the world, and they are on a deadline and they need to be changed. They need to be changed right now. And it's very challenging as a trainer, but I absolutely love that type of pressure. So I'm hired to get these people ready to be on stage or in front of the camera. But as I started having this spiritual encounter, I began to train more and more of people, just average Joes. And I get just as much satisfaction in having that connection with people that just want to change their body, feel better, than somebody that needs to be up, in front of the camera, in front of a million people, in having that deeper connection with people and building not just their physical body, but also their spiritual body.
Mm-hmm. When just going back to the pressures that celebrities face versus the civilian folk, are their pressures more unique than ours, or is it only perceived that way and we're all putting that kind of pressure on ourselves?
It's all pressure is all relevant on the person.
Mm-hmm.
If I were going through something that Shawn Mendes is going through, like if he has to go perform in front of millions of people, I'd be freaking out. But he's sort of used to that type of pressure, and it's not that it's more than what we're experiencing. It's just a different world, and
right.
We all have different paths.
Totally. Can you tell us about your new book?
Yes. So I got into a little bit about my own personal story, but 7 Sundays is really a 43-day devotional that is building, strengthening your physical body and also your spiritual body simultaneously. Every day, you're going to be incorporating something that I picked. It's a word I call chosen, or I picked chosen, and that's an acronym. And you can really split it up into 2. You have the spiritual element, and then you also have the physical element. And the spiritual element, which starts with C, it stands for conceding, and that's really just activating your faith in the morning. It's a simple prayer to God or whoever your creator is, and just activating that spiritual side of yourself. And then the honoring is really we focus so much on what we eat, but we don't pay attention to our mental diet. And so honoring is really reinforcing that positive affirmations with scripture. You can also do it with any type of quotes or whatever is good for you. But for me, it was I picked, I think, very basic scriptures that I felt that were empowering to me that people could incorporate. And then there's unique aspect of offering. I tell people the quickest way to get out of depression is to give back. It automatically puts you in a state of gratitude. So they have that offering element where people, it's going to force the reader to go out into the community and to also connect with their family and their friends on a deeper level as well.
Sometimes just getting out of your own head is so important, because we can really become self-loathing when all we're focused on is ourself and our wants and our needs, and not feeling like we are accomplishing or we're comparing on social media. I always think, and you wrote a book about it, but if you find yourself on Instagram and, oh, why don't I look like this? Why don't I achieve this? Get off the app and get into living.
Yeah, no, it's true. For a long time, my relationship, I used God as a crutch in my life, and I didn't really do much until I realized that I had to meet God halfway and empower myself. And I think with my book, it has that practical element that is going to. I think the way to increase our faith is through application and the way we live our lives. And so that's what I really enjoy doing, and that's what has changed my life. But I agree with you 100%. And this journey is a fun. It's crazy, but it's also
right.
It can be an amazing journey as well.
You got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good, because that's just the ebb and flow, right, of life. But thank you for joining us, Alec, and I'm excited to see you pushing all those books up on your back.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon.